let's get to the big changes at Fox News. Post Tucker Carlson, they made a big announcement yesterday, put this up on the screen. So they've got a reshuffling and an addition to their primetime lineup. So now the evening programming is going to go Laura Ingraham. She was later in the evening. They're bumping her up to 7 p.m. Then filling in Tucker's slot, you have Jesse Waters. So that's the big announcement, is that Jesse Waters is taking over for Tucker at 8. Then you're going to have Sean Hannity staying at 9. And you have Gutfeld moving into primetime at 10 p.m. This comes as post-Tucker, Fox News has been kind of struggling. Also, MSNBC saw a big bump with the indictment news that they went all in on, and especially since CNN has sort of like lost faith with the liberal resistance types. So MSNBC has really benefited from that. However, Fox News has, and I think we have this, put this up on the screen, Fox News has regained their #1 primetime spot. But Saagar, they still are down like a third in primetime viewership post-Tucker. So I think I personally think it's unlikely that Jesse Waters is ever going to really, however you feel about Tucker. I'm obviously not a fan for a whole variety of reasons. Also not a fan of Jesse Waters or literally any of the other people that I just mentioned. I think it's unlikely he's going to fill those shoes and be able to reclaim those ratings. I also just think that type of cable news stardom, as we've discussed in the past, is really on its way out because people have other options.
Exactly. This just confirms what I really thought all along. They're purely in managed decline mode. They're not in the moonshot mode anymore. Tucker actually at the time was much more of a moonshot. They literally brought him out. He wasn't in the existing primetime lineup. They brought him in, slot him into the 8.
Did he go straight from Weekend Fox and Friends?
So he was on Fox and Friends, Weekend Fox and Friends, which is the true doldrums. Then was, I think he was slotted in at like 6 o'clock, right in the middle of the O'Reilly mess, and then they moved him around, specifically also when Megyn Kelly left, and to make him the 8 p.m. So the point, though, is that with Jesse Waters, this is a known quantity on the Fox News program. This is somebody who's literally been on for 20-something years, who, look, I think he's had his shot now, and if he was going to be a star, he would have been a star already at this point. He was the anchor, I guess, of the 5, and the problem is that by slotting him in there, you're basically just accepting, we're going to drop by a third, and we're just going to roll with it. We're just going to keep going down this path. Waters, look, again, I think the guy, here's the thing about Jesse Waters. He's not original. There's nothing original about him. He's about as cookie cutter as Sean Hannity. He tries to borrow from some of the Tucker playbook to at least go in some interesting directions. And I think, unfortunately, just in the long run, like that's just not going to work for the cable news platform itself if you're thinking from the perspective of Murdoch, who's actually running it. But you still got a multi-billion-dollar enterprise on your hands. So you might as well just, keep the trains on time running. This is what MSNBC has done with Alex Wagner. This is now what they're doing over at Fox. I mean, over at CNN, they're like basically not even trying anymore to try and, trying to get more people to watch, whatever the hell is going on over there. So this is it. Like, this is what decline looks like. So in that way, I guess we should celebrate. I think it's interesting.
Yeah. They're still going to have a lot of cultural power. Like, I don't want people to delude themselves about that. All of these networks are going to continue to have a lot of cultural power because the last people that will be watching these shows are like the denizens of the city that we live in. And, unfortunately, they have a lot of power. So it still matters a lot what is said on these airwaves. But, the other piece is if you are someone who is original and, creative and is saying things that aren't being said elsewhere, number one, that's a risk for cable news. They like people who sound the same and are predictable in their, who they're outraged at and how they portray things, et cetera. That's easier for them. It's easier for their audience to make sure that everybody's staying in line, easier for their political allies and their advertisers, et cetera. But also, like, if you are going to take that shot of doing something different, there's just so many other places that you can go where you're going to be able to earn a good living. You're going to be able to have a lot more freedom, not have the bullshit that comes with being on cable news and having a corporate boss and the whims of your fate hanging, by the arbitrary decisions of some random person in a C-suite. So, yeah, another sign of the times, more evidence that every single one of these cable news networks is looking at the writing on the wall. And they are saying that the best they can hope for is just to, hold on to what they've got for as long as possible.
Right, and actually one major sign that things in terms of the Tucker direction are done, let's put this up there on the screen. Sources apparently saying that Fox terminated all of Tucker's former staff They still, though, want them remaining employees to continue working until mid-July. According to a former Tucker staffer, they say that they were told that they had to keep producing the Fox News Tonight Show until the show ends in July, at which point they will be terminated. If they do not comply, then they will lose all of their severance in the meantime. So pretty unceremonious in terms of getting kicked to the curb because they were seen as too loyal to the previous talent. I guess Jesse Waters will bring in his Waters World, whatever, the old guys from the O'Reilly staff to come and run it. So good luck, Jesse, I guess. I don't think it's going to work out.
Hey guys, if you like that video, go to breakingpoints.com, become a premium subscriber, and help us build the best independent media organization on the planet.
That's right. We're subscriber funded. We're building something new. We want to replace these failing mainstream media organizations.
So again, to subscribe, it's breakingpoints.com.